In the spotlight of fame, where every relationship becomes public property and every choice faces scrutiny, some of Hollywood's biggest stars have made decisions that shocked the world. Behind the glittering facade of red carpets and perfect couples, a different story was unfolding, one of personal discovery, hidden truths, and the courage to live authentically, no matter the cost. These aren't just stories of broken relationships or celebrity scandals. They're profound journeys of self-discovery that required abandoning everything society expected of them. From beloved TV stars to music legends, these celebrities faced an impossible choice: continue living a lie that satisfied public expectations, or embrace their truth and risk everything they had built. If you're ready to discover the untold stories of courage, authenticity, and the price of living your truth in the public eye, hit subscribe, because these revelations will change everything you thought you knew about love, identity, and the cost of fame. Alan Cumming, The Journey to Authenticity. Alan Cumming's relationship with Saffron Burrows represented everything the entertainment industry expected from a rising star. They met in 1994, two talented actors whose romance seemed destined for fairy tale success. For 2 years, they navigated the complexities of dual careers, supporting each other through auditions, celebrating victories, and weathering the inevitable disappointments that define an actor's life. But beneath the surface of their seemingly perfect relationship, Cumming was wrestling with feelings he couldn't ignore. The constant travel and physical separation that came with their careers created emotional distance, but the real chasm was forming within Cumming himself. He was discovering aspects of his sexuality that he had never fully acknowledged, feelings that couldn't be reconciled with the heterosexual relationship he was living. The end came quietly, without scandal or dramatic confrontation. They simply grew apart as Cumming grew into a fuller understanding of himself. The tragedy wasn't in their breakup. It was in the years of uncertainty and confusion that preceded it, the slow realization that he was living a life that wasn't truly his own. Love found him again with Nick Filippo, a relationship that brought genuine joy until Nick's death in 2002. The loss devastated Cumming, but it also reinforced the importance of authentic love over conventional expectations. When he met Grant Schaefer in 2004, Cumming had learned the difference between what looked right and what felt right. Their marriage in 2007 wasn't just a union, it was a declaration. For the first time in his life, Cumming was completely himself, with a partner who embraced every aspect of his identity. Over 17 years together, they've proven that authenticity, not conformity, is the foundation of lasting love. Matt Bomer, The Hidden Struggle. Long before Matt Bomer became a household name through White Collar and Magic Mike, he was navigating the treacherous waters of Hollywood while hiding his true identity. In the early 2000s, he maintained a carefully constructed public image that included relationships with women, all while wrestling with the knowledge that his authentic self remained hidden from the world. His relationship with actress Laura Vandervoort appeared to be a typical young Hollywood romance. They were photographed together at events, seemed comfortable in each other's company, and fit the image that both their publicists and the industry preferred. But for Bomer, every public appearance was a performance, every photograph a lie that grew heavier with time. The weight of living inauthentically began to affect every aspect of his life. Friends noticed his increasing anxiety, his reluctance to discuss his personal life, and the way he seemed to disappear into his work as an escape from reality. The pressure to maintain his facade was destroying him from within. Everything changed when he met Simon Halls, a successful publicist who understood both the industry's demands and the cost of hiding one's truth. Their relationship began in secret, two men in an industry that still punished authenticity with lost roles and stalled careers. But for the first time, Bomer was experiencing love without pretense. The decision to come out publicly in 2012 was terrifying, but it was also liberating. Bomer had spent years believing that honesty would destroy his career, only to discover that authenticity actually strengthened it. His marriage to Halls and their 3 children represent not just personal happiness, but a complete rejection of the lie he once lived. Today, Bomer's openness about his journey serves as inspiration for others struggling with similar choices, proving that the risk of authenticity is always worth the reward. Ricky Martin. Breaking free from expectations. For over a decade, Ricky Martin's relationship with Mexican TV host Rebecca de Alba was the subject of intense media speculation and public fascination. From 1994 to 2005, their on and off romance played out like a telenovela, complete with passionate reunions, dramatic breakups, and constant questions about when they would finally marry. But behind the headlines, Martin was fighting a battle that threatened to destroy him. The relationship with de Alba, while genuine in its own way, was built on an incomplete foundation. Martin was experiencing feelings and attractions he couldn't acknowledge, even to himself in an industry and culture that offered no space for such truths. The internal conflict manifested as depression and anxiety that colored every aspect of his life. He would disappear for months at a time, avoiding public appearances and struggling with the disconnect between his public image and private reality. The pressure to be the Latin heartthrob that millions adored was slowly killing the man behind the persona. His relationship with de Alba became a casualty of this internal war. She deserved someone who could love her completely, without reservation or hidden conflicts. When they finally ended things in 2005, it wasn't just the conclusion of a relationship. It was Martin's first step toward honesty. The journey to authenticity wasn't immediate. His relationship with Carlos Gonzalez lasted 6 years, but remained largely hidden from public view. It was only when Martin met Joan Joseph through Instagram that everything clicked into place. Their conversations evolved from casual messages to deep emotional connections, and when they finally met in person, Martin knew he had found his future. Their marriage in 2017 represented the culmination of Martin's long journey from hiding to wholeness, from living for public approval to embracing personal truth. Wentworth Miller, The Price of Secrecy. When Prison Break made Wentworth Miller a global sensation, the spotlight that came with fame also brought an unbearable pressure to maintain an image that wasn't authentic to who he was. His rumored relationship with co-star Mariana Claveno became a convenient cover story, allowing him to deflect questions about his personal life while protecting the secret he wasn't ready to share. The relationship, such as it was, served both their interests. She gained publicity from the association, and he gained protection from speculation about his sexuality. But the arrangement came at a tremendous personal cost. Miller was living in constant fear of exposure, crafting careful responses to interview questions, and maintaining a facade that grew more exhausting with each passing day. The pressure of maintaining this false narrative began affecting his mental health and his work. Colleagues noticed his increasing isolation, his reluctance to engage in the social aspects of their industry, and the way he seemed to withdraw into himself between takes. He was slowly disappearing behind the character he felt forced to play. His relationship with Luke Macfarlane, which began around the same time, represented everything Miller couldn't have publicly. Macfarlane, himself struggling with similar issues in Hollywood, understood the impossible position they were both in. Their relationship had to exist in shadows, stolen moments between filming schedules, and the constant fear of discovery. The breaking point came when Miller realized that living in secrecy was destroying not just his relationships, but his sense of self. His decision to come out publicly in 2013 was prompted by Russia's anti-LGBTQ+ laws, turning his personal revelation into a powerful political statement. Today, Miller's openness about his struggles with mental health and identity has made him an advocate for others facing similar challenges, proving that authenticity, even when it comes late, can still save your life. Barry Manilow, A Lifetime of Hiding. For nearly 4 decades, Barry Manilow lived one of entertainment's longest-running deceptions. His relationship with Linda Allen, which lasted from 1965 to 1987, appeared to be a typical showbiz marriage, supportive, stable, and perfectly suited to his image as America's romantic crooner. But beneath the surface, Manilow was living a double life that would define his existence for decades. The marriage to Allen wasn't entirely fabricated. There was genuine affection and companionship between them. But it was also a carefully constructed shield that protected Manilow from an industry and audience that wasn't ready for a gay romantic balladeer. In the 1970s and 80s, his career depended on the fantasy that he was singing love songs from personal experience with women. The internal conflict intensified when Manilow met Gary Keefe in 1978. What began as a business relationship, Keefe became his manager, slowly evolved into something deeper and more meaningful than anything Manilow had ever experienced. But acknowledging these feelings would require dismantling the entire life he had built. For nearly a decade, Manilow maintained both relationships, giving Allen the public companionship she deserved while conducting a secret romance with Keefe. The strain of living this double life was enormous, affecting his health, his music, and his ability to find genuine happiness in either relationship. The divorce from Allen in 1987 was presented as a typical celebrity split, but it was actually Manilow's first step toward authenticity. Still, it would be another 27 years before he felt secure enough to marry Keefe, and even then, they kept the marriage secret until 2017. Manilow's story represents the particular challenges faced by artists whose entire career was built on romantic mythology that excluded their authentic selves. Jim Parsons, the sitcom star's secret. Jim Parsons spent years carefully managing his public image, maintaining relationships with women that served as perfect cover for the truth he wasn't ready to reveal. Before The Big Bang Theory made him one of television's highest-paid actors, Parsons dated several women in the entertainment industry, relationships that appeared genuine but lacked the emotional depth he was secretly experiencing elsewhere. His relationship with actress Jessica Walter seemed particularly convincing to those around them. They appeared at industry events together, she supported his early career struggles, and their partnership had all the hallmarks of a young Hollywood romance. But for Parsons, every public appearance was a performance more challenging than any role he had ever played. The pressure of maintaining this facade while building his career was overwhelming. Parsons was terrified that revealing his truth would destroy the opportunities he had worked so hard to create. In an industry that still punished authenticity, especially for leading men, the safest choice seemed to be continued deception. Everything changed when he met Todd Spywak at a karaoke bar in 2002. Their connection was immediate and undeniable, but it also created an impossible situation. Parsons was falling in love with someone he couldn't acknowledge publicly, while maintaining relationships that served his career but betrayed his heart. The decision to end his relationships with women wasn't dramatic. It was a quiet shift toward honesty that began with accepting his feelings for Spywak. As their relationship deepened, Parsons found the courage to stop living for everyone else's expectations and start living for his own happiness. When The Big Bang Theory made him famous, Parsons made the brave choice to be open about his relationship with Spywak. Their marriage in 2017 was a celebration not just of their love, but of Parsons' journey from hiding to wholeness. Luke Evans, the action star's revelation. Luke Evans built his early career on the kind of rugged masculinity that Hollywood traditionally demands from its action stars. His relationships with women, including a highly publicized romance with actress Holly Goodchild, seemed to perfectly complement his image as a tough, heterosexual leading man capable of carrying major franchises. The relationship with Goodchild appeared ideal on paper. She was beautiful, accomplished, and supportive of his ambitions. They were photographed together at premieres, shared romantic getaways, and seemed to represent the kind of power couple that the entertainment industry celebrates. But for Evans, every moment of their relationship felt like a betrayal of his authentic self. The pressure to maintain this image intensified as Evans landed major roles in films like The Hobbit trilogy and Fast and Furious 6. Presti. Studio executives made it clear that his marketability depended on maintaining his straight image, especially in action films where audiences expected traditional masculinity from their heroes. But living this lie was destroying Evans from within. He struggled with anxiety and depression, feeling trapped between the career he wanted and the life he needed to live. The relationship with Goodchild, while comfortable, could never provide the emotional fulfillment he was seeking elsewhere. The turning point came when Evans realized that his career success meant nothing if it required abandoning his authentic self. His decision to end his relationship with Goodchild and come out publicly was terrifying, but it was also liberating. He discovered that audiences were more accepting than the industry had led him to believe. Today, Evans' openness about his sexuality has made him a role model for other actors struggling with similar choices, proving that authenticity doesn't have to end careers. It can actually enhance them. Matt Dallas, The Teen Star's Journey. Matt Dallas entered Hollywood as a fresh-faced teenager with dreams of stardom and the typical romantic storylines that came with young fame. His relationship with co-star Kristen Prout during the filming of Kyle XY seemed like a perfect Hollywood meet-cute. Two young actors whose on-screen chemistry translated into real-world romance. Their relationship had all the elements that fans and publicists loved. They were attractive, age-appropriate, and their romance mirrored the innocent storylines of the show that made them famous. For 2 years, they navigated young love in the public eye, attending events together and building what appeared to be a solid foundation for a lasting relationship. But Dallas was struggling with feelings he couldn't reconcile with the relationship everyone expected him to maintain. As he matured, he began recognizing attractions and emotions that contradicted everything he thought he knew about himself. The confusion was overwhelming, made worse by an industry that offered no guidance for young stars facing such revelations. The relationship with Prout began to feel increasingly hollow as Dallas discovered aspects of his identity that he had never explored. She deserved someone who could love her completely, without the reservations and confusion that were growing stronger each day. Their breakup in 2008 was painful but necessary, the first step in Dallas's journey toward understanding himself. His subsequent relationship with Blue Hamilton represented everything Dallas had been searching for but couldn't name. When they met in 2010, Dallas finally understood the difference between what looked right and what felt right. Their engagement in 2013 and marriage in 2015 wasn't just a union. It was Dallas's declaration that authenticity was more important than public approval. Their adoption of a son completed Dallas's transformation from confused young actor to confident family man living his truth. Colton Haynes, The Model Struggle. Colton Haynes spent years perfecting the image of a heterosexual heartthrob, dating a succession of beautiful women who perfectly complemented his status as a model and actor. His relationship with actress Emily Bett Rickards seemed particularly convincing. They were both rising stars with compatible careers and complementary images. The relationship served multiple purposes. It protected Haynes from speculation about his sexuality, enhanced both their public profiles, and satisfied the expectations of an industry that still struggled to accept openly gay leading men. But every public appearance was a performance that grew more exhausting with time. Behind the carefully crafted image, Haynes was battling severe anxiety and depression. The pressure to maintain his heterosexual facade while suppressing his authentic feelings was destroying his mental health. He began self-medicating, isolating himself from friends and family, and withdrawing from the career he had worked so hard to build. The breaking point came when Haynes realized that living a lie was literally killing him. His decision to end his relationships with women wasn't just about romantic preference. It was about survival. He could no longer maintain the energy required to be someone he wasn't, especially when that performance was destroying everything he valued about himself. His relationship with husband Jeff Leatham, which began after Haynes committed to living authentically, represented a complete transformation in how he approached both love and life. When they married in 2017, it wasn't just a wedding. It was Haynes's public declaration that he would no longer sacrifice his happiness for others' expectations. Today, Haynes's openness about his struggles with mental health and sexuality has made him an advocate for young people facing similar challenges, proving that choosing authenticity over approval can literally save your life. Jonathan Bennett, the comedy star's choice. Jonathan Bennett's early career was built on the kind of comedic charm that made him perfect for romantic leads opposite female co-stars. His relationship with actress Sahara Davenport appeared to be a typical Hollywood romance. Two attractive, talented young people building their careers together while navigating the challenges of fame. Their relationship had genuine moments of happiness and compatibility, but it was also serving a purpose that Bennett wasn't ready to acknowledge. In an industry where comedic leading men were expected to be relatable to heterosexual male audiences, his relationship with Davenport provided perfect cover for feelings he wasn't prepared to explore. The internal conflict intensified as Bennett's career grew. He was landing roles that required him to portray heterosexual romantic interests, all while struggling with attractions and emotions that contradicted these performances. Every kissing scene, every romantic storyline felt like a betrayal of his authentic self. The pressure reached a breaking point when Bennett realized that living inauthentically was affecting not just his personal happiness, but his professional performance. He couldn't give his best to roles that required him to deny fundamental aspects of his identity. His decision to end his relationship with Davenport was the first step in a journey towards self-acceptance that would take several more years to complete. The transition wasn't immediate. Bennett needed time to understand and accept his own feelings before he could share them with the world. When he finally came out publicly and began his relationship with James Vaughn, Bennett discovered that authenticity actually enhanced his career rather than destroying it. Their engagement represents not just personal happiness, but professional liberation, the freedom to be completely himself in every aspect of his life. Zachary Quinto, the sci-fi star's evolution. Zachary Quinto's rise to fame through Heroes and the Star Trek reboot films came with intense pressure to maintain an image that would appeal to the traditionally heterosexual male fan base of science fiction. His relationships with actresses like Sutton Foster served as perfect cover for the truth he wasn't ready to reveal. The relationship with Foster seemed genuine and supportive, two actors navigating the challenges of building their careers while maintaining a personal connection. They appeared at industry events together, supported each other's projects, and created the kind of stable image that both their representatives and the studios preferred. But for Quinto, every public appearance felt like a performance more challenging than any role he had ever undertaken. He was playing the part of a heterosexual leading man while struggling with feelings and attractions that contradicted this carefully constructed persona. The cognitive dissonance was overwhelming. The pressure intensified when Quinto was cast as Spock, a character beloved by generations of fans who had specific expectations about the actor who would portray him. Studio executives made it clear that maintaining his straight image was crucial to the success of the films and his future in the franchise. But living this lie was destroying Quinto's ability to find joy in his success. He was achieving everything he had ever wanted professionally while feeling completely disconnected from his authentic self. The relationship with Foster, while comfortable, could never provide the emotional fulfillment he was seeking. His decision to come out publicly in 2011 was terrifying, but necessary. Quinto discovered that his fears about fan reaction were largely unfounded. Audiences cared more about his performance than his personal life. His subsequent relationship with Miles McMillan represents the freedom to live authentically while maintaining the career he had built through years of careful image management. Neil Patrick Harris, the child star's secret. Neil Patrick Harris spent decades perfecting one of entertainment's most elaborate deceptions. From his teenage years on Doogie Howser through his adult success on How I Met Your Mother, Harris maintained relationships with women that perfectly supported his image as a charming, heterosexual leading man. His relationship with actress Christine Taylor appeared particularly convincing to industry insiders and fans alike. They were photographed together regularly, seemed comfortable and affectionate, and represented the kind of stable Hollywood relationship that publicists dream of promoting. But every moment was carefully calculated to maintain an image that contradicted Harris's authentic self. The pressure of maintaining this facade while building his career was enormous. Harris was terrified that revealing his truth would destroy the wholesome image that had made him famous, especially given his history as a beloved child star. The entertainment industry had no template for openly gay actors in mainstream comedic roles. Behind the scenes, Harris was living a completely different life. His relationship with David Burtka began in secret, two men navigating love while protecting careers that seemed to depend on remaining closeted. Every stolen moment together was shadowed by the fear of discovery and the potential destruction of everything they had worked to build. The decision to end his relationships with women and eventually come out publicly required tremendous courage. Harris had to risk not just his career, but the public image he had spent decades crafting. When he finally revealed his truth, he discovered that audiences were far more accepting than he had feared. His marriage to Burtka and their family life represent the ultimate victory of authenticity over fear, proving that the risk of honesty is always worth the reward of living your truth. Dan Reynolds, the rock star's revelation. Dan Reynolds built his career as the frontman of Imagine Dragons while maintaining a carefully constructed image of heterosexual rock star masculinity. His marriage to Aya Volkman seemed to perfectly complement this persona. She was beautiful, talented, and supportive of his musical ambitions. Together, they created the image of a stable, creative power couple. For 7 years, their marriage appeared solid from the outside. They had 3 children together, collaborated on musical projects, and navigated the challenges of fame as a united front. But beneath the surface, Reynolds was struggling with aspects of his identity that he couldn't reconcile with the life everyone expected him to live. The internal conflict manifested as severe depression and anxiety that began affecting both his music and his marriage. Reynolds found himself questioning everything he thought he knew about love, attraction, and his own identity. The pressure to maintain his image while wrestling with these revelations was overwhelming. The marriage to Volkman became a casualty of Reynolds' journey toward self-discovery. Despite their genuine love and compatibility, he couldn't continue a relationship that required him to suppress fundamental aspects of who he was becoming. Their divorce in 2018 was painful but necessary, the first step in Reynolds' commitment to living authentically. His subsequent openness about his fluid sexuality and his relationship with partner Ryan Smith represents a complete transformation in how Reynolds approaches both his personal life and his artistry. The music he creates now comes from a place of complete honesty, freed from the constraints of maintaining an image that never truly fit. Today, Reynolds uses his platform to advocate for LGBTQ+ rights and mental health awareness, turning his personal journey into a source of inspiration for others facing similar struggles. Sam Smith, The Voice's Journey. Before Sam Smith became one of the world's most celebrated vocalists, they spent years trying to fit into conventional relationship patterns that never quite felt right. Their relationship with actress Lily Allen appeared to offer the kind of stability and normalcy that might provide clarity about their identity and future. The relationship with Alan had genuine moments of connection and happiness, but it was also serving as a testing ground for Smith's understanding of their own sexuality and gender identity. They were trying to force themselves into traditional romantic patterns while struggling with feelings and attractions that didn't fit conventional categories. As Smith's career exploded with hits like Stay With Me and Too Good at Goodbyes, the pressure to maintain a relatable public image intensified. Their team worried that revelations about their sexuality might alienate audiences who connected with the universal themes of love and heartbreak in their music. But living inauthentically was destroying Smith's ability to create honest art. Their music came from a place of emotional truth, and maintaining a false personal narrative was compromising the very authenticity that made their work powerful. Every love song felt like a lie when it was performed by someone hiding their true self. The decision to embrace their identity as non-binary and openly discuss their relationships with men wasn't just about personal happiness, it was about artistic integrity. Smith's music became more powerful and resonant when it came from a place of complete honesty about who they were and what they had experienced. Their relationship with partner Brandon Flynn represents the freedom to love authentically while maintaining a career built on emotional truth. Smith's journey proves that authenticity enhances rather than diminishes artistic power. Luke Macfarlane. The Soap Star's Struggle. Luke Macfarlane spent the early years of his career navigating the particularly treacherous waters of daytime television, where leading men were expected to embody the romantic fantasies of predominantly female audiences. His relationship with actress Rebecca Breeds provided perfect cover while he built his reputation as a heartthrob on Brothers and Sisters. The relationship with Breeds served multiple purposes. It enhanced both their profiles, satisfied network executives who wanted their stars to embody the romantic storylines they portrayed, and protected Macfarlane from speculation about his personal life. But every public appearance required him to perform a version of himself that felt increasingly hollow. Behind the scenes, Macfarlane was developing relationships with men that provided the emotional and physical connection he couldn't find in his heterosexual relationships. The contrast between his public image and private reality created a cognitive dissonance that affected every aspect of his life and work. The pressure intensified when Macfarlane began landing leading man roles that required him to portray heterosexual romantic interests convincingly. Every love scene felt like a betrayal of his authentic self. Every press interview about his bachelor lifestyle, another lie that grew heavier with repetition. His decision to come out publicly in 2008 was revolutionary for daytime television, an industry that had never had an openly gay leading man. Macfarlane risked everything he had built, but he could no longer maintain the energy required to live someone else's life. The courage of that choice paved the way for other actors facing similar struggles and proved that audiences were more accepting than the industry believed. Today, Macfarlane's openness about his journey serves as inspiration for others, choosing authenticity over approval. The stories of these 15 celebrities reveal a universal truth that transcends fame and fortune. The human need for authenticity cannot be suppressed indefinitely. Each of these men reached a breaking point where the cost of living a lie exceeded the risk of revealing their truth, regardless of what that revelation might mean for their careers or public image. Their journeys illuminate the particular challenges faced by public figures whose personal lives become commodities to be managed and marketed. In an industry built on fantasy and image, choosing reality over perception requires extraordinary courage. These men didn't just risk their careers, they risked the very identities they had spent years constructing and the relationships they had built on incomplete foundations. What makes their stories particularly powerful is not just the courage they showed in coming out, but the compassion they demonstrated toward the women who were casualties of their journeys toward authenticity. These weren't stories of deception for its own sake, but of people trapped by societal expectations who found the strength to choose truth over comfort, love over approval, and wholeness over the hollow satisfaction of public acceptance built on lies. Their experiences remind us that authenticity isn't just about being true to ourselves. It's about freeing everyone around us to live their own truths as well. What do you think about these journeys of self-discovery? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories about the courage it takes to live authentically in the public eye.